All right, let's dive in and talk about the handshake. You've noticed that as a common theme with the videos that you've watched so far. I'm extending out and I'm shaking their hand almost every single time. So you can see this interaction here where I've literally shook her hand, and I just want you to observe how long that I hold her hand, how comfortable that she is with that. Because I want you to be shaking her hand in every interaction, okay? Now, certain interactions that you see here, you can continue to hold her hand. And this is going to be a really good gauge of her comfort level with you, because the second that you notice that the handshake is about to go stale or that she may be uncomfortable with it, you simply drop your hand. But you can see how long that is going on for in this particular interaction. The handshake is super important because it allows you to make physical contact right off the bat. And remember, it's a handshake. It's totally normal. We are essentially going to enter into that handshake with the girl when we meet her using a subconscious response. When you put your hand out with 100% certainty and confidence, 9 times out of 10, the girl is just simply going to take your hand without even thinking about it. It's just natural, and before you know it, she's in the interaction with you, and making that connection with that handshake is a way to really infuse energy into her. Like, look, there's that direct connection, and it breaks the physicality right off the bat. So here's another example of the handshake, and this one, funny enough, the girl's actually on her cell phone. So I want to demonstrate the handshake again here too, but also I just want to point out, like, there's no excuse, right? This girl's on her phone, she's talking to her friend. That creates this funny little storyline of where I'm now telling her things to say to the friend, and obviously she's having a great time. Another example, they're comfortable with the hand, they're comfortable with the touch. You can keep it going. You see me kind of shaking it back and forth. She's holding the phone, and then eventually I will drop the handshake as she's moving around here. Now here's another example of where you can actually be shaking both their hands at once. We've got kind of a crowd of people here, but as they move out, you'll be able to see I'm literally holding both these girls' hands at the same exact time. So you can walk up, shake your target's hand, still be holding onto it, and then shake the friend as well. The big thing to keep in mind here, whether it's one girl, whether it's 2 women, is, as I mentioned before, you've got to roll up with that certainty. If you're going up to meet women and you're noticing that a lot of them are not taking your hand, that is a reflection on your internal state. Now, it's not to say that some won't. Some won't take my hand either, and that's cool. And in those scenarios, just don't make a big deal about it. Or it's just not a big deal. Just because she doesn't shake your hand doesn't mean the interaction can't go in a really great place. In other words, if you said, Scott, I want you to go over these interactions, and you're not allowed to do the handshake, I could still do it, but I would always prefer it, and I would always recommend you start your interaction off with it, because it just creates this level of rapport and comfortability that you guys have just gone from strangers to now quasi-knowing each other, right? Because once people have shaken hands, at least in normal society, isn't that the point where you have kind of officially met them? So bring that handshake. You're going to see it more as we go through all the infield footage, but I wanted to point out these specifics to you in this tutorial.